The ultimate test of faith, Abraham and Isaac. In the vast land of Canaan, the elderly Abraham gazed at the night sky, reflecting on God's promise. Inside the tent, Abraham and Sarah embraced their son, Isaac, with joy, the living proof of God's long-awaited promise. One night, Abraham received a divine vision. God commanded him to offer Isaac as a burnt sacrifice. At dawn, Abraham rose early, gathering wood and supplies, preparing for a journey that would test his faith. As the sun cast its golden glow, Abraham set out with Isaac and 2 servants, heading toward Mount Moriah. They traversed the vast desert, with Abraham leading a donkey carrying the provisions. Isaac, full of curiosity, walked beside his father, unaware of the test ahead. After a long day, they rested under a large tree, exhaustion evident on their faces. Abraham pointed toward the distant horizon, where Mount Moriah was beginning to appear. At the foot of the mountain, Abraham instructed the 2 servants to stay behind as he and Isaac continued alone. He carefully placed the bundle of wood on Isaac's back while carrying the fire and knife himself. As they ascended the mountain, Isaac looked at his father with questioning eyes, sensing something unusual. "Father, we have the wood and fire, but where is the lamb for the sacrifice?" Isaac asked innocently. Abraham looked at his son with deep faith. "My son, God will provide the lamb himself." Their silhouettes stretched against the sky as they climbed higher, approaching the place of offering. Dark clouds gathered above, foreshadowing the great test to come. At the mountain's peak, Abraham and Isaac reached the designated spot, observing the sacred site. Abraham meticulously arranged stones, carefully constructing the altar. He looked around the vast land of Moriah, feeling the presence of God. With the altar completed and the wood neatly arranged, everything was ready for the sacrifice. With a heavy heart, Abraham gently bound Isaac's hands, tears welling in his eyes. Isaac, full of trust, lay on the altar, gazing at his father without fear. Abraham's trembling hands gripped the knife, his faith battling his emotions. In a moment of extreme tension, he raised the knife high, ready to obey God's command. Suddenly, a radiant light pierced the sky, and a voice called out, "Abraham, Abraham, do not harm the boy." The angel of the Lord appeared, stopping Abraham's hand just in time. Overcome with emotion, Abraham sighed in relief, his heart filled with gratitude. Isaac looked up at the sky, his heart overflowing with reverence and thanksgiving. Nearby, a ram was caught in the thicket by its horns, a miraculous provision from God. Abraham recognized the meaning of this miracle, turning to the ram with profound gratitude. Overjoyed, Abraham untied Isaac, embracing his son tightly. Isaac stepped down from the altar, his eyes still shining with wonder. Abraham led the ram to the altar, ready to offer it as a substitute sacrifice. Flames roared as Abraham sacrificed the ram, fulfilling God's command with absolute obedience. A golden light enveloped father and son, a sign of God's acceptance. Abraham raised his hands to heaven, praising God with deep gratitude. Beside him, Isaac knelt in prayer, thanking God for his mercy and provision. On a nearby rock, the words, "Jehovah Jireh," the Lord will provide, appeared, marking the sacred moment. As the fire continued to burn, Abraham gazed at the horizon, knowing his faith had been tested and refined. The dawn of a new day broke, symbolizing renewal, faith, and divine blessings. Abraham stood firm, listening as God reaffirmed his promise of countless descendants. He looked up, seeing a sky filled with stars, a sign of his future lineage. The scene shifted to endless golden sands, symbolizing descendants as numerous as the grains of the sea. A radiant light from heaven shone down, wrapping Abraham in divine warmth. Isaac observed his father, realizing God's grand plan unfolding. They began their descent from the mountain, their faith stronger than ever. At the foot of the mountain, the two servants rejoiced to see Abraham and Isaac return safely. Father and son embraced, their hearts overflowing with relief and happiness. The golden sunset bathed the land of Canaan, symbolizing God's blessings. Abraham knelt in prayer, expressing gratitude for God's faithfulness. Father and son walked on, their journey of faith continuing. A vision appeared, Abraham's descendants thriving under God's promise. A sacred scroll emerged in the vision, recording God's covenant with Abraham. Across the world, nations gathered, symbolizing the universal blessings through Abraham's lineage. In the distance, a radiant cross appeared, foreshadowing the ultimate sacrifice from Abraham's descendants. Abraham, filled with peace, smiled at the heavens, his faith unwavering. Upon returning home, Sarah and the family welcomed Isaac with overwhelming joy. The words, "God is faithful," shone in divine golden light. The final image, Abraham's home under a star-filled sky, symbolizing peace, faith, and fulfillment. Final message: faith in God brings immeasurable blessings.